My father died when I was 4. You told the story. Yes. My mother became a single parent when I was 4. While I was doing apprenticeship for my uncle, at the age of 8, I was going to Newu one day. I was passing a Ido Motor Parks. I passed AG 11Ts, and I turned to a friend with me. I said, one day I'm going to build a house like this. The man cocked my head. It was feel like, where do I say some of these things? But out of anger or to punish me for, my new fine faith. Yes. My uncle asked me to come in the evening. I went with my senior brother and they counted 200 naira and gave me. That was in 1977. Yes. And I asked him, what will I do with this money? Yes. He said, well, that's my starting up capital. I said, I served you for 6 years, almost 7 years. Would this, what does this mean? I can't understand because I can't pay for a store with this. I can't buy even 1 carton of plug. He said, well, whatever I want to do with it, I should do. I looked my uncle straight to his eyes. I said, look, if God give us 5 years, you will be amazed what God is going to do out of this 500 naira.
Yes, it's in your book. I no longer dwell on the mistakes I've made, the failures, the controversies and accusations don't bother me. But the good, the bad, and the ugly have culminated in making me the woman I am today.
I was so poor. Poor people used to call us poor.
Because of my level of financial status then, I will say, I had one shirt I was wearing every time. In the evening, I wash it.
Put it in front of the fan?
Yeah, put it in front. In the morning, I will use it again.
I started smoking marijuana with the Bible in Belgium, in my hotel room.
What, you used to tear the Bible?
I tore it, I started smoking, and I started telling myself it tastes sweeter. And from then on, I started smoking the Bible.
She came to me and said, Richard has passed on. And I just took hold of my clothes as if to tear them off. At that point, I felt that God had answered my prayer. So I said, thank you, Jesus.
7 people.
Yeah, I lost
within
24 hours.
That was then. There's no product without a process. And you'll be what God says you'll be in due season. We celebrate the story behind the glory, and that's to the glory of God. Thank you for joining us for the concluding part of the Koschari story. Mr. Maduka, you gave everything you owned. So, what did God do?
The following day, I said, like I was a jobless person, so a friend of mine was going to Onitsha, and I decided to join him and, become his driver and drove him to Onitsha, and we were having a discussion. And asked me what has become of me. He knew me as a very hard-working person, and what happened that they didn't get to see most of me recently. I said, well, I made a wrong judgment. I had a wrong consignment, and I lost my capital. But it's just the seed capital that I'm looking for. If anybody can give me 5,000, that I'm sure I can double the money by the end of the year. He said it's not true. I convinced him that it's true, and he asked me to see him in the evening. This is after I gave up the things I had in the church.
Yes.
And I went to see him in the evening, and he counted 5,000 naira and gave me. The grace of God was with me. I worked very hard. At the end of that year, I have raised that money to become 18,000 naira. And I made an account and went to him and said, out of the 5,000 naira you brought, I've been able to make 13,000 naira. The total capital we have is 18,000. He said it's not true. I say absolutely true. He said if it is true, I should return his 5,000 and give him additional 5,000, and I can take the rest 8,000 naira. I couldn't believe myself.
Yes.
Maybe he really didn't believe me. I did something smart. I said, okay, I see you in the evening. That evening I went to his house. I went with 8,000 naira. I said, this is the 5,000 naira you gave me. can you take this 3,000 and give me 2 months? Because if I want to give you 10,000, most of the goods will be an obstacle, so that let me be able to turn around. He said, no, sure. This means about 70% return on his investment. I can bring the balance in 2 months. In 2 months' time, I went back and sent them the 2,000. I became a free man and had a capital of mine. I traded that year and ended that year with about 37,000 naira after I've given that amount of money with him. And then I teamed up with a friend of mine called David Nwosu.
Yes.
We formed a company called CosDev. Cos is the 3-letter word from me, and
Yes.
Dave was his name. And we came down, I left Nnewi and came down to Lagos in Idumota here, and we started importation. We ended that year with about 126,000 naira. The following year, our money became over 300,000. By 1981, we have over 1.2 million naira, and then dollar was 1 to 1. That's to say we own about $2 million. And nobody knew any difference. I never changed my lifestyle.
Yes.
I was still driving a second-hand 504. I was living in Ajegule. One thing about me is that God gave me the discipline. I can sit on wealth. Money doesn't excite me. Because I made my mistake, though, because I wouldn't say it happened overnight, because
Yes.
I learned from my mistake.
Yes.
It do happen. So, and then we started again differing in ideology, and we had some misunderstanding, and anyway, the short story of the story is that we parted ways.
Yes.
And when we parted ways, I decided to form my own company. Because already we're known with Cos Charis, I didn't want to lose the name. So I called Cos Charis. I took 6-letter word from my wife. My wife was Charity.
Yes.
Instead of saying Cos Charity, we made it Cos Charis.
Yes.
Cos Charis sounds Greek.
Yes.
There's something about name.
Yes.
So when we now form a company called Cos Charis, myself and my wife was my second in command in the company. So both of us started business. We had 2 boys doing apprenticeship for us. We were in a Butemeta and started growing the business. One time I traveled to Japan. In 1982, the economy of this country was almost at a halt.
Yes.
Things were really bad. Everything was subjected to import license. We have incorporated Cos Charis Motors Limited. It sounds Greek. It's great to be speaking to you this evening. That I'll be speaking on the opportunity and how I was able to grow my company from ground zero to where it is. I invite you to enjoy great leaders of innovator, financial expert who will be there to deliver their experiences that brought them to where they are. I trust you will not miss this opportunity. We look forward to seeing you in Houston. You can go ahead right now and register. You'll be able to get a discount, or come in person if you are not available to do so. We look forward to seeing you. Great to see you in Houston in the middle of this month.
Visit www.stephenakinteo.com/GWF USA to book your ticket now.
And the federal government decided to give about 10 motor company import license.
Yes.
So my wife called me in Japan and said, guess what? I said, what? He said, our name appeared number 7 on the list of the company that get him. I said, no, you are kidding. He said, she's not kidding, that this is for real. I didn't believe her. But behold, it was true. All these big motor companies, these are multinationals. And look at tiny, small me from nowhere. I was equated among them. And we had import license. And that year was the seller's market. The people that carry drug cannot make any kind of money with it. Because you can be selling a goods and instantly decide to change the price. People were saying, can I get more?
Yes.
The price was not the issue. You can sell anything at any price. So this was a turning point. This was a big quantum leap in the Cos Charis success story. In 1982, I made so much money, and by then I'm matured. I had the discipline to know how to sit on things. Where we are in Cos Charis Street in Crickley Industrial Estate, I bought it in 1983, about 1.7 million. That was about $3.4 million.
Yes.
You know, and then started thinking about manufacturing, looking at things we are doing, then I started building the place, get some Nigerians, send them abroad, train them. We started manufacturing motorcycle, roller chain, and things begin to happen. It was from, success is like a wildfire. As you make money, things continue to span and move into so many things. We made so much money. I got involved in different kind of business. Because Charis has grown today. We are in Ghana in the last 15 years. In fact, where we were in Ghana is bigger than where we are in Maza. I went to Ghana. Somebody took me to Ghana basically to buy a gold field. So as I was in Ghana moving, I was looking at some vacating vehicles, all the dead vehicles. By the time we finished, I told him there's no need to go to the bush. I'll find another gold field. And I decided to set up an operation in Ghana. I came back to Nigeria here. I had some Ghanaians working for me, and we set up Charis Ghana. Where we are in Ghana is bigger than where we are in Maza.
Yes.
And when we went into Ghana, petrochemical products were still under license. We worked hard, we got license. Our competitors were Mobil, Shell. Their overhead was too high, small me. We made money and created a niche for ourselves. We moved into Africa. We're not only in Ghana, we're in Gabon, we're in Africa, we're operating in 3 other African countries.
Hold the thoughts. When I read this book, Glowing Tributes, which I will share with you when we come back. In this book, most of his colleagues and friends describe him in very glowing terms, like entrepreneur par excellence, business czar, consummate businessman. Do you still wonder why they call him that? Well, if you're still wondering, let's listen some more.
Very simple. My mentors are the Japanese. I learn a lot from them. One important thing anybody that want to be in business to do is to know that your word is your bond.
Yes.
And if you understand what it takes to keep a commitment, then you have been able to win the confidence of your suppliers.
Yes.
A Japanese would rather prefer to hear that the roof of your house caved in yesterday, but you made a commitment today, but not to tell him you couldn't pay because your roof of the house caved in yesterday. They are not religious people. They don't read Bible. The religion is business. So you need to keep to commitment without wavering. I hired somebody from the bank one time when they joined us. They are one of our general manager. Then the exchange rate moved from 20 naira to 80 naira. If we meet the commitment we are supposed to make that month, we will lose about 100 million
It's
naira.
in this your book, yes.
And he said, no, we should explain to our suppliers, this is not our fault. The exchange rate went. I said, look, don't internationalize a local problem. This has nothing to do with our supplier. He did not know anything. The commitment we made to him, he didn't do business with the federal government, is that we will pay at certain day, let us pay. He didn't understand me. He thought that I was out of my mind. We made that commitment. What these things has done today for us as a Charis group is that I'm sure it will be amazing to a lot of people to know that we have unlimited credit facility, whether from local bank or international. We work with Exim Bank of USA. There's no bank in this country that signed collateral. Basically, there's no good business we found to do today by the grace of God that we don't find money to do it. Yes. But the suppliers, all my suppliers deal with me on open accounts, include whether you call them BMW, Ford, whatever you call it, because I can ask you to take reference from the other party. But I paid the price. It doesn't just happen overnight.
Yes.
It is those who that we do business with find in integrity level, they think we are people to be trusted. Yes. There is evidence. A lot of young boys today are in a hurry to make money, and that's one of the things that create problem. You cut corner. If you are a businessman that is called future should matter to you more than today, because the wrong decisions you take today will not be noticed today. It's going to be seen down the line. The right decision you take today will also be seen down the line. It doesn't prove automatic. One thing I'm trying to say is that, God had helped us. I learned a lot from people. I was not educated. I follow my natural instinct. I'm a Christian. I walk by inspiration. The national man walk with what they call intuition, but God inspired me that this is the right thing to do. I do them, and I've always get the result. So, the success, went like a wildfire from Koschari's motto. We register Koschari's investment. We register Koschari's export. We register Koschari's beverage, where we produce bottled water. We do anything legal you can do to make money, from selling sachet water to selling a BMW. I'm involved in information technology. We have a computer outfit. We have our own local PC called Cosmos, which we produce. We represent HP, IBM, and different other big companies anywhere. So we are involved into medical equipment, Koschari's Medical. We are anything you can think about. We are into farming. We decided we did not put our eggs in one basket. Okay, we play also in the stock market. I sit in the board of 2 quoted bank. I sold off on one of them last year. I'm still sitting in one of them today. And learn by experience. And a lot of people think I didn't go to school, but by God's grace, I was in Harvard last year. So I tried to improve myself. Yes. I didn't sit back and glorified in my illiteracy. I tried to do things to improve myself. But I never feel bad about myself that I didn't have the opportunity. I believe that future is bright and that I can do something.
Hello friends, I am happy to be invited by my very good friend Dr. Stephen Akintaya in Houston from 21st and 22nd to speak on how I was able to grow my little organization to a conglomerate. I'm inviting you to register now to join the expert in financial management and entrepreneurship to share their stories coming on September 21st and 22nd. You can register online now and get a discount, or you can be there present if you wish to. Whichever way you plan to. We look forward to seeing you. Great to see you in Houston at that time. Shalom.
Visit www.stephenakintayo.com/GWF USA to book your ticket now.
So God is great. What I can tell people to do is that if you trust Him, these are not exaggerated stories, because we read in the Bible what God did with Joshua, what He did with some other people. It looked far-fetched, like extraordinary stories that are things, but they are ordinary men like us. But their faith brought God on the scene. If one person meet the same condition on which Jesus Christ healed anybody in the Bible day, Jesus Christ is obligated to heal the same person today. Otherwise, He made a mistake when He healed the first person. And with God, He's not a respecter of anybody. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. What God is looking for is a man that can trust Him. For those of us who are in business, God is looking to see, can I trust you with money? Because many of us also are in business, but I'm not saying this to say that I'm angel, but the grace of God has been with me that I can sit on top of things. Some people find money. They get reckless. They forget that they are Christian. A real good father is not going to give you anything that will destroy you. What Bible says that seek you first the kingdom of God and His righteousness. All other things, these things we call money, wealth, God trivialized them. They are extra curriculum. They are not among the main subject. The main subject is your commitment and love for God. When God sees your heart, that you are genuine and you are for real, and He sees that He can trust you with money, because some people can get money and start going naked on the street, and their heads are broken, which we still see in our modern society today. People get money and buy a Mercedes and put a koboko there and start whipping other people on the street. Absolute madness. It doesn't make any sense. But you can still be yourself. So there's no limit to what God can do. By the grace of God, God took me like David. He says, from the dungeon and lift me up
to sit with princes.
To sit with princes. At a pedestal you cannot imagine. Because what is inhibition for you as a businessman is access to capital. I have almost unlimited resources today. What is my position is that I'm not in a hurry to jump into something I do not know. I believe it is also the right thing to do. I want to be sure that if I can see through any business, forget about the money to do it. I have friends. I had when we incorporated the Kostaris Finance and Investment Limited. You may call it a public company or a private business and things. I have individuals that deposit £1 billion with me.
Hold the thoughts, sir. Hold the thoughts. Isn't God just amazing? You know, sometimes we who call ourselves Christians and believers, we don't know the power inherent in this God. To us, the Bible is a story in academic exercise. But when you have had experiential knowledge, when you talk about this God, you talk about him with passion. Don't go away. We'll be right back. When you hear amazing stories of what God is doing today, it just makes you begin to wonder if you know this God at all. You know, I tell people it's always good to be a person of integrity. You're welcome back.
Thank you.
Mr. Maduka, amazing story. Amazing story. So when you look back at that day you pulled everything you had from your pocket, put in church, your wristwatch, gave the bag of rice, and you didn't have anything. When you sit back today, and when you're worshiping God, you're praising God, because you're a devout, there are some days I hear nobody can even reach you because you're in church.
Sure.
When you sit back today and look at this God, what comes to mind?
God is amazing. It's just something you cannot figure in your mind. When you think about people like me, as a matter of fact, very many times I see people looked at me in church in amazement, you know, when the presence of the Lord comes upon me and I shed tears and cry. I'm sure some people may be wondering, did he commit sin? What is he crying? It's a cry of joy.
Yes.
I can't even explain it. It's something beyond my human comprehension. Not just because, for me, really, not just because God prospered me with the material things, but that among the billions that live in the face of this earth, that his love could find me. Because I consider myself like one in a million.
Yes.
There are not many people at my level that believe what I believe, that understand that this God is real, that have been able to prove God. It goes back to say that so many times we measure on what is going wrong in our life.
It's great to be speaking to you this evening. That I'll be speaking on the opportunity and how I was able to grow my company from ground zero to where it is. I invite you to enjoy great leaders of innovator, financial expert who will be there to deliver their experiences that brought them to where they are. I trust you will not miss this opportunity. We look forward to seeing you in Houston. You can go ahead right now and register, you'll be able to get a discount, or come in person if you are not available to do so. We look forward to seeing you. Great to see you in Houston in the middle of this month.
Visit www.stephenakintayo.com/GWF USA to book your ticket now.
That we don't get to see what is going right. Bible tells us that Jesus Christ learned obedience through the things he suffered. Adversity is only a refining fire that burns out impurities in our life. God sometimes takes us through things and try us. Many times we are 1 minute to our promised land, we mess it up because we couldn't wait the next moment. I trusted him without limit, and by his grace, it's been amazing in my life. what God has done and what He has the capability to do.
And then just tell us a little bit briefly, after you got married, children didn't come on time.
Children didn't come in time. This I say, when you talk about visions and goals, one of my goals, frankly, was that when I am 40, if you see me with my son, you will not know both of us. You know, I think big as a child. So I expected to have a child in my 21 year of marriage, but the first 6 years, the children did not come. And by 25 years in my life, I started making success. And people said I used my wife's womb to make money. You know, I had all those kind of things. And people were talking all kind of garbage stories and all of that. My wife will cry and all of those things and said, you know, the man doesn't care and let. I said, look, I want more than 10 children to you. If we live 15 years, we don't have a child, we'll adopt a baby. When that word went out and people heard it, they said, forget it. This one is just camouflaging, it's just projecting that they will not have children. God blessed me with 5 boys and a girl. One of them was late. My third son died at birth. But I had 2 boys, I had a girl, and then I had a boy that died. I had another boy. So I have 4 boys today. A girl was in between them. You know, so, and my first son, I just graduated, did economics in Unilag here. I could take my children to anywhere in the world, but the same fanatical me, I made all of them go to school here. 3 of them are American citizens, but they school here. I'm a proud Nigerian. I don't feel inferior to anybody in the face of this earth. I travel. Talk about medical care. I go to Root Teaching Hospital in Idialaba to check my medical care every year. How are we going to fix the problem of this country if we don't believe in this country and find what is going wrong to be able to repair it? People like me are grateful for this country because this country made me. And we pray that God will give us one day the right leaders that will give us a right sense of direction. Nigeria are very resilient people and hardworking people. I'm very proud of all of them. And I can encourage them that they should work hard and put their mind in what they are doing and not just simply be in a hurry to make money. The only way to be successful in life is to learn to work hard. If you work hard, God will prosper you. God will bless your handwork because He sees your desire first in the thing you are willing to do, and He will come on the scene for you.
Mr. Maduka, if you have to sum up in one word, when you think of your life then and today and what God has done for you, what is the one thing? If God came in front of us today, what would you say to Him?
What I would say to Him is to give me courage to obey His word, to be more like Him. There's, you know, money doesn't mean anything. You may say because I've had it, but the life of man does not consist in what he had. Seek God and fear Him. You have a foundation and future. You will not bake bread. Success is relative. If you want to measure success, we measure success on the difficulties you overcome to get to where you are. If my children inherit my wealth, they are not successful.
Hello, friends. I am happy to be invited by my very good friend, Dr. Stephen Akintaya, in Houston from 21st and 22nd to speak on how I was able to grow my little organization to a conglomerate. I'm inviting you to register now to join the expert in financial management and entrepreneurship to share their stories coming on September 21st and 22nd. You can register online now and get a discount, or you can be there present if you wish to. Whichever way you plan to, we look forward to seeing you. Great to see you in Houston at that time. Shalom.
Visit www.stephen